Hogstyle.
Hello, hello, and welcome to the Hogseye. It is the full cast. It is Steve. It is Dave. It is Alex. It is NFL preseason underway in the next 48 hours, technically. We'll get into that in a minute. Dave, we're going to start with you because you and Steve both are doing fun little bits. Steve, by the way, really Vince Lombardi right now.
Yeah,
That's
I mean, he came back from the grave just to do our
right.
show.
The one season wonder of Vince Lombardi.
It was either him or Joan of Arc, one of the two.
I would have preferred Vince. Joan of Arc would have been a weird. That's a weird decision, man.
It's whatever name pops into my head is who I invite.
That's an interesting one.
And our fourth
But
cast member is here. He's laying on
yep,
the floor because he's very tired because we walked about a mile in the blazing heat. So toward the end of
nice,
the show, he will be animated and begging for
nice.
the completion of his walk. Yes.
But Dave, yeah, we are at 39 days, and you've picked
We
a
are.
very deep cut for your background
Yeah.
picture.
Well, as of recording, we're 39 days. When they listen, it'll be 37 days, which was Chris Thompson's original number before he switched to 25. I
Sure.
could have used that one, but when I looked for 39, I came across a player by the name of Otis Wansley. Played
All
under
right.
Joe Gibbs. Joe
Yep.
Gibbs, he was primarily a special teams guy, but he was attributed to by Joe Gibbs on his Hall of Fame speech, and I didn't know that. I vaguely, if at all, remember him,
Mm.
but it was pretty interesting when I came across his name and the profile and what he meant to Joe Gibbs. So, and he was a pretty impactful player on a team that most of us probably don't even remember or even knew.
I remember Otis Wansley. I just wouldn't have remembered his name. And since you guys let the cat out of the bag, we are recording this a day earlier than normal. So if something outrageous happens on Wednesday,
Right.
don't blame
Yes.
us because we're a day early
Well,
and we
we
can't
have
see the
decided
future.
to move things around. There's some scheduling issues for Dave mostly, but
Yes.
we're at a time in the year where we can do
We're just
that.
assuming nothing untold is going to happen on Wednesday.
Yes. No,
Like the
hopefully no
signing of Stephon
injuries.
Diggs.
Yeah, no. That will be that'll still be a week away, is what
Well,
I'm
we're gonna
hoping.
we may call an audible and at least mention that here in the show because there's been
A lot of
lots
chatter.
more rumors and a lot
Yes.
of
Yeah,
chatter about Stephon Diggs and I maintain he's still a train wreck, but he's far less of a train wreck than the other person who shall be unnamed.
right. He shall not be
Well,
named.
well, the one thing that was noticed that when in camp when Josh Harris, Adam Peters, and Dan Quinn were speaking, they were speaking for a little while, and then they noticed later on Terry McLaurin was either called over or wandered over, and they were talking to him directly, almost like as if, "Hey, listen, we're looking like we're going to make this move, but we want to
Uh,
not necessarily have your blessing, but hey, say listen." Because it's just giving respect to a veteran is all it is. It's not like they're
Look,
getting his okay.
they could have been getting
But
his pizza order, man. I mean, we don't know what they were saying.
oh, I know
Right.
that. But it's just if this
That's
Stephon
reading a
Diggs thing
lot. That's
happened.
reading a lot into it. That's all I'm
Right.
No,
saying.
no,
That is.
this is what people on Twitter are going. I wonder why they're talking about McLaurin. When they're
Again,
talking McLaurin.
maybe they were saying, look, hey,
So
somebody backed into your car in the parking lot, man. I'm sorry about
yeah,
that. It could have been anything.
Yeah.
Your wife
Well,
called and is sick, and who knows?
for all we know, if it's a pizza order, hopefully
hey,
Terry did
listen.
not
Hey,
get.
listen. I like going through the obscure side of it and pulling that out of the clouds.
Hmm
You
What
know,
kind of
it's
pizza do you
more
think would
fun
be
that way.
what kind
I'm
of
I'm
pizza do you
just
think is
hoping
appropriate?
I'm hoping it wasn't Ohio Valley style pizza, which is
What the heck
apparently
is Ohio Valley style
it
pizza?
is pizza where you don't melt the cheese and you have cold toppings on top of it.
What
That's
is the point
horrible.
of that? That sounds awful.
Well, dude, there's this whole weird thing like when you get, and Dave, you probably know this, like Pittsburgh similar style pizza and like Altoona style pizza. Like there's a weird like Pennsylvania, Ohio once you get further inland where they just love to ruin pizza.
What I have learned
yeah,
is in my health food journey the past several years, which I've talked about in part on here,
yeah.
there is no such thing as healthy pizza. No
Oh, of
matter what
course not.
anybody says,
No.
there is no. I have looked at every single pizza option on the face of the earth, and there is no such thing as healthy pizza. Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, because pizza really is one of the greatest inventions man has ever made.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But yes, in your diet, I'm sorry, it's probably impossible.
It's totally out.
Yeah.
All this is to say is instead of them getting live on, did this happen on camera, Dave? That you're talking about?
It got caught on
camera. Long shot camera view. That
I think what it really was is they were getting his pizza order because they were keeping him late to study some film, and the hey man, you need some pizza. I think that's all it was.
Well, speaking of pizza, how you guys on Hawaiian style pizza?
I'm pro all styles of pizza.
What is Hawaiian style pizza?
Ham and pineapple on it.
That sounds awful. No.
It's ham, pineapple. No. Sometimes people add some barbecue sauce.
Actually, it is actually very good. And for all those out there who say
pineapple should not be on pizza.
Well, see, for all those who say that if you were in Italy, they would probably slap you for that. Just so everybody knows, when I was stationed in Italy, and from '96 to 2000, that's where I first had Hawaiian pizza. And
interesting. That's interesting.
So, and because of what you were about to say, yes, that is a travesty of justice. Yes.
I am. It's not a one seed for me, but there are a few places, like few local pizza places in DC. We the Pizza being one of them that do a really good Hawaiian pizza. If don't get it from Domino's, it's garbage.
Would you guys let me tell you? I haven't eaten pizza in years, like I told you, but the best pizza, there's only one. Are you ready?
I'm assuming you're going to go either pepperoni or cheese.
Sausage, black olives, and mushrooms.
That's actually a way wilder order than I would ever have expected.
That was the best pizza. That's the best pizza.
I mean, I love that.
I can't argue that.
That's a solid order.
It's a great combo.
Solid.
It's a great combo. Absolutely.
I will tell you my one weird pizza topping that no one really does: shrimp. Really good shrimp on, like grilled shrimp on pizza, delicious.
I don't know. That sounds awful, but okay. I like shrimp. I can't eat shrimp either, but I mean,
you can't eat even shrimp on
your. It's got a lot of salt. Shrimp has a ton of sodium in it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. It is seafood after all.
Now, if you go to the specialty style pizza, the barbecue chicken pizza with cilantro, heavy on the cilantro.
Interesting.
Very good.
If anybody out there has unusual pizza they claim is the best, other than what has already been mentioned here,
right?
Send us a tweet or a post or something.
Give us a weird.
Give us your pizza.
Like, I fully admit, shrimp is a weird pizza topping, and but it works if it's done well. I think the secret of pizza is almost anything can be a good topping if it's done right.
But more importantly, if anybody endorses my sausage, black olives, and mushrooms thing, let me know, because nobody else. Usually, are the first ones that have endorsed it.
Really?
Yeah, no one.
No, I've actually had that. No, it's very good.
That's a standard in my rotation. Usually, if like Dora and I order pizzas from like a Papa John's, one of the chains, we get one slightly weirder because she likes like a Alfredo pizza, instead of marinara sauce, and then we'll do something traditional. That's definitely in our rotation. Our sausage olive mushroom.
Welcome to Top Chef Podcast, people.
Yeah. Top pizza toppings, the show. I would definitely do a show about pizza. That's totally original. No one's ever done that, right? There's no other sports podcast that talks a lot about pizza at a disturbing level.
Not that I'm aware of.
Steve might not actually be aware that Barstool does that all the time. We should put that in as a little note.
I am not aware of anything Barstool does all the time, frankly. So,
Dave, I assume you knew what I was referencing. I hope.
Actually, no, I did not.
Oh my God, you guys have aged out. I'm still the young one.
I've never listened to 1 second of anything.
Oh, nor have I, but I'm aware of things that exist. So
yeah, I've never even heard of Barstool even with that like that.
You've never heard of Barstool, period. Dave's just never heard of Barstool.
Yeah, listen, the Barstools I like is the ones where it collapses in the center and never mind.
Has a little nail sticking up. Yeah. It's what keeps you alert and keeps you on it when you've had too much.
It keeps me on my toes, no doubt about it.
All right. We should. One thing we had on top of the agenda that I want to get to quick. I said right off the bat, preseason starts. If you're listening to this, Steve, I don't know if we really talked about this. Are we publishing this Wednesday or are we publishing it
We're going
Thursday?
to publish it Thursday as normal.
Okay. If you're listening to this on the day of publishing, uh, tonight is the first Hall of Fame game, which is the first preseason, or the night is the Hall of Fame game, the first preseason game of the year. It is going to be at, I think, 6 o'clock. It's on NBC. 7 o'clock. Sorry, 7 o'clock on NBC. It's the Cardinals playing the Panthers, two teams no one cares about, with players no one's ever heard of,
And we'll
playing
never see again.
and we'll never see again. And you're playing it in the suburb of a city and state that no one really
No one
likes
wants to go to.
or respects. Yeah. my point is, as
uh,
much as I love the idea of the Hall of Fame game, it's just the most poorly executed thing the NFL does
It's pretty
every
much the
year.
worst thing. So, by the way, Washington's first preseason game, for those of you who aren't aware, is against the Dolphins on
August
the 14th. And so we'll
14th,
cover
yes.
that to the extent we cover it. We'll cover it next week.
Yep.
Yep. Our pregame preview that we love to do so much for the preseason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not writing a game preview for the Dolphins preseason
Right.
game.
So that's a 7 o'clock game on a Friday. And just to remind everyone, Saturday the 22nd is the Lions, and Friday, August 28th, will be the Ravens. That's the final preseason game. As we still have to get used to that 3-game preseason in my mind. It's very that's a harder thing to comprehend than 17 regular season games. I don't understand why. For me, I'm just weird. I accept that.
Well, you are just weird, but
Yeah, we know that. Yeah.
That's not news.
That is not news. All right, what is news? There's a slew of roster moves that the Washington team has made this week, even some today. Steve, I know the big one is Akilo Witherspoon was put on the reserve retired list. He was kind of being pegged as not a starting corner, but like a solid rotational corner for the team.
Yeah,
And now
I
he's
mean,
done.
but never fear, they signed Fabian Moreau to replace him.
Welcome
If
back, Mr. Moreau.
Yeah,
Yep.
welcome
Yeah.
back, Dr. Moreau. Yeah, and so that's him. They signed a new center, Trey Hill,
Right.
and I'm pull up my chart here.
I have that they also released a Trey Hawkins, so
Yeah, that was the other one. And
one
they
Trey
released
in,
Trey
the other
Hawkins.
Trey out.
Yeah, and they released Trey Hawkins.
Yeah.
And so Trey Hawkins he's on injured reserve, technically speaking.
Oh, he's
Um,
okay.
Yeah, they didn't release him. And then the pup list is the same as it was last week, and I still didn't look up who they pulled off the pup list. Last week it was Amos, Dorrance Armstrong, Kane Madrano, and
Right.
Dietrich Wise. One of those people is off of it, and I don't know who it is.
I think it's
'cause I
Ken
didn't look it up.
Madrano because I saw
Yeah,
he came off. He's
Okay,
coming
there
off.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And Tress Way is on the active non-football injury list, by the way.
okay.
That's the
Okay.
other thing.
Yeah. So does that mean he can practice if he's on that list or not yet? Still, I don't
No,
remember.
no, that's why
okay.
he's on the list. Yeah.
Yeah. So they bring back our old friend Dr. Moreau, and he was with Washington. He was drafted here in 2017, so he's been around for a while now. This will be his 9th season, 4
Right.
seasons here. The reason they brought him in, he was with the Vikings last year, which means he was with Durante Jones in that cornerback room. So
Makes sense.
it makes a lot of sense. Bring in a decent veteran who has that kind of interaction.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not call him a draft bust, considering he was a 3rd-round draft pick and all that.
Wait,
and
he was a
that's-
3rd-round draft pick?
Yes, he was a 3rd-round draft pick. Gotta sneeze. Hold on, people.
Oh, here we go. Mute, Steve, mute.
I'm trying not to sneeze.
He's
still.
trying not to
Oh,
sneeze.
no.
He's doing
But-
that bit. He's Steve, just
The
mute and let
nostrils
it
are
out. We'll
flaring.
vamp. We'll vamp if you mute and sneeze.
But the point is, he hasn't started any games in 2 years.
No.
And he did not succeed in Washington, which is why they let him go. And
Right.
for those wondering, so he was with Washington for his rookie contract 2017 2021. Went to Atlanta 1 year, then moved to the Giants, then moved to Denver, then to Minnesota. Now he's come around full circle. And but I mean, the good news is, he's a veteran. Is he going to be great? No, he's not going to be Darryl Green, but he'll be a solid veteran pickup for. I don't have his contract yet; it's too soon, but presumably it's going to be a veteran's minimum.
Yeah,
I would assume.
Yeah, I would assume so too. You don't.
Oh,
pay
and
a
by
guy
the
like
way,
that a
after
lot
all
of money.
these moves, they're still. I mean, again, I'm missing the contract here, but they're still in the range of 44 million ish in terms of cap space. I told you guys none of these moves are going to amount to hill of beans, and so the cap space is about the same.
Right.
Yeah.
That's roster moves.
It is wild that they drafted him in the third round in 2017. I pulled up his Wikipedia. Here, I'm going to give you a reminder of that defensive back group that they brought him into. That's when they had Josh Norman, Bashad Breeland, Fuller, and Quentin Dunbar all on the roster, and they drafted a corner in the third round with what they thought at the time was actually a pretty good cornerback room. And some of those guys were decent. I will say.
I like Quentin Dunbar, and
I always liked Dunbar. Breeland, decent player, box of rocks in the head, but
it wasn't he the one that got in trouble for
guns in his trunk or
something like that. Yeah, we did it's just business athletes behaving badly on him. I can't remember what exactly happened. It was
he had went
something
to jail.
in a car.
So did Quentin Dunbar.
Dunbar had something too as well.
Yeah, but it was Breeland did something stupid in a car, with a car, in a car, or something.
I'm pretty sure it was guns and drugs in his car, kind of thing.
Yeah, and there was like another car involved. I can't remember, but anyway, good riddance to that guy.
Yeah. But that was just a trip down a weird memory lane.
Yeah, in fact, I think he was caught driving over the Jersey Bridge. I think with all that in there. And you got,
I don't. I'll take your word for it. It was something ridiculous.
We're gonna make up an entirely incorrect story if we keep going.
That's why I'm not. I'll take it. I don't remember, but I just know it was something to do with the car and other people in the car, and I don't know.
Right. A rabbit, I think, was involved. A
rabbit, a pot, boiling water, right? Something like that.
The immortal words of Steven Tyler: "Can't catch me, the rabbit done died."
There you go.
If anybody knows what he's actually referring to there, you're old.
All right. So those were the roster moves. Nothing huge. Camp, it sounds like went really well so far.
It always sounds like it went really well.
It's always sunshine and rainbows. I know. And then in the age of social media, which Steve doesn't participate in,
no,
we get all these little highlight clips of guys making individual plays. It's so hard. It's hard to say, oh, was this a great play? Like today, there was this great highlight from Luke McCaffrey. Dave, I think you shared that with everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Right.
McCaffrey making a big catch down the field for a touchdown. It's not clear to me watching it. Was that actually supposed to go to him, or was that going to Terry though?
Can I divert Can I divert before you guys get into this?
What are we going to?
Breeland. I pulled up Breeland's Wikipedia page. Arrested on April 28, 2020 for multiple charges, including resisting arrest, having alcohol in a motor vehicle with the seal broken, having open container of beer or wine in a motor vehicle, possession of 28 grams or less of marijuana or 10 grams of hash, driving without a license. The police officer who detained Breeland alleged that Breeland threw a large blunt into his car and he pushed the deputy out of the way and attempted to flee the officer before he was detained. The morning after the arrest, he posted to his Twitter that the marijuana was thrown into his car, then quickly deleted the tweets. The arresting officer said that Breeland informed him that he was a marijuana enthusiast. so there you go. And then he was arrested again in August of 23. This is what I think I was remembering. The police pulled him over, discovered the 2020 Mercedes-Benz G550 had been reported stolen in Florida. Officers searched the car and located a swath of firearms, including multiple assault rifles and handguns, and copious amounts of drugs. So there you go.
We actually remembered pretty well.
Some more, we were kind of mixing two things into one, but yeah.
Well,
it had nothing to do with driving over a bridge, but
yeah.
Can I also say swath of firearms is a very interesting legal definition?
Listen, it was Wikipedia, man. I can't vouch for the accuracy of any of it.
I totally get that, but it's just such a. I don't think I've ever heard of a swath of firearms being a thing before.
It's a swath of something, but not firearms.
Right, right. I don't. I a gaggle of firearms might be more
It's
appropriate.
definitely not a gaggle.
Well,
Anyway, you
just
can go back to
yeah.
training camp. I had to get that out because it was so funny.
No, it's fine. That is fine. So yeah, the thing about the Luke McCaffrey play that they seem to be highlighting, I'm pretty sure that was going to Terry McLaurin, and it was just a little overthrown, and McCaffrey caught it. I don't know about you, Dave, but watching that, doesn't it kind of look that way?
I thought the way the ball, the trajectory of it looked like to me, it looked like it was going to Luke McCaffrey.
Really?
To
Because
me, yeah.
McLaurin's going up for it. He clearly
Well,
is.
yeah, he was going up for it, but when he was coming across, though, he kind of just kind of pulled up because
Mm,
I just think the trajectory of the ball, the way it was coming down, I don't think it was ever intended for him.
mm.
But I mean, I could be wrong on
I,
that
I
too.
watched
So
it. It looked to me like it was intended from McCaffrey, but
You think
I don't
so?
know.
Okay,
Nor
maybe it's
do I
just me.
care particularly.
The only other thing, I think McCaffrey's put on some muscle. He looked a lot bigger than what I remember, like especially his rookie year when I went back and looked at some of those photos I took like on my social media. Like I think he's added some good muscle there.
Listen, since you're so McCaffrey,
Yeah,
generally speaking, obviously, um, he started slow in
sure,
his career, which we
absolutely.
knew would happen because he was a quarterback for multiple seasons at
Hmm.
Rice.
He played
Um,
1 year receiver, right?
yeah, he's always looked to me like nothing more than a possession receiver. Um, maybe he can be more than that, but I don't think he's ever going to be more. If you, I know, you guys know I don't like the number one, number two, number three thing, but I'm
Hmm.
thinking like, is this peak a number three receiver? Probably.
Sure,
I mean, he's never
sure.
going to be Christian McCaffrey
It-
if that's what anybody's getting at.
no, no, no. I
That's
think
my thought. Can he improve? Sure. Has he improved? Absolutely. He's improved a
I
little
think
bit.
he improved quite a bit last year. Like the one thing he was doing last season before he got hurt was it seemed like every week you saw him make one big catch down the field. It wasn't much more than that. It was maybe that one big catch and then, one short possession route like you're talking about. But he,
uh,
he would have one 30-yarder, one, 25-yard big play down the seam. That kind of became
I don't
what he
know.
was
I mean, he
doing.
had
I, I th-
11 receptions in 9 games last year.
I think the biggest thing that I think is focused on with McCaffrey, with most beat reporters, not the fans, is his improved route running, his speed.
Hmm.
Off the line is much better this year, and he seems like he's more honed in. He's more focused and more polished as a receiver, which is exactly what we wanted to see out of him. And we just see him take that next step. I
Hmm.
mean, he's just progressing because right now, outside of McLaurin being moved around everywhere, right now McCaffrey has had the most amount of targets out of the slot out of anybody
Mm.
on this team thus far to this point. So they've been focusing heavily on him in the slot. And the one thing that I also noticed recently, and I did a quick look, that he hasn't been focused nearly as much on special teams returns in camp thus far this year. That's been mostly all Jalen Lane and a few other guys.
Hmm.
So I really think this team is really focusing on getting him to a point where he can be that number three, number four receiver, and reliably so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you're wrong there. Uh, I, I was actually going to look up what was his official height and weight recently, but I'm still
Well,
swearing
I
to.
mean, so I've
Yeah.
got him, if you want to know. Um,
Well, 6'2". He's 6'2". 195 is what he's listed as on the team's website right now. I just pulled that one up. Um,
yeah, I had 6'2", 198 on
yeah,
mine.
I wouldn't be surprised if he's over 200 now just from watching that video. He looks bigger to me.
Pro
I don't know
Football
why.
Reference has him at 195, and so yeah,
Hmm.
you might be right. Maybe he's gained a few pounds.
Which look, guys need to. Like we say about Jaden Daniels a lot because I think he obviously came in a little small, but all these guys when they come in from college need to add a
Well,
few
Jaden
NFL
Daniels looked
pounds.
like a scarecrow. Okay,
Yeah,
there's a
Yeah,
difference
absolutely
between
true.
Luke McCaffrey and Jaden Daniels.
True, very true, very true. Although I think they were the same weight. Jaden Daniels is just a little taller. One thing we didn't mention in terms of injuries, I did see somewhere that John Bates had gotten hurt and was gonna probably miss a few weeks.
yeah.
Uh, I don't know. Hopefully, it's nothing too serious with him. But you know what? That just means more opportunities for the Bensonats, the
I don't really
Kolesniakovs.
understand what John Bates is doing on the team, to be perfectly honest. He's got a huge contract. He's got a $21 million contract. I don't really get it. I mean, he's sort of can contribute in a lot of ways, but he's the master of nothing. Yet he's got a
He's
large,
considered
large
an elite
contract.
blocker, and they value it. That's
I
what it
guess.
is.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, it's
Yeah.
just it's the same thing that Pittsburgh did with Darnell Washington. I mean, he's far from their top receiving tight end, but he's a
Right.
very good blocker. So he adds to the running game in that sense. And
Is it worth
and then
$21 million?
to
Maybe
the
it
league it
is.
is. To the
I
league it
guess.
is.
Yeah. The
So good.
I think the fact is at this point, Steve, there's so few good blocking tight ends that finding a good one of those is more special than an average pass catcher.
I was available. All they had to do was ask.
But ever since you got healthy and lost all that weight, now you're maybe a running back, maybe like
I could have put it all back on if they'd offered me $21 million.
that's fair. That's true. Uh, I would put on even more and be a real blocking tight end. You know what I mean? For 21 million, I'll get up to 260. I'll tell you that right now.
No, but I
just
mean, I hope he's not hurt too much. But I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
really get it.
it's a strained hamstring is what it is.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for finding that one. We were talking about receivers before. Your guy Burks continues to impress as a red zone target. It sounds like.
Yeah.
I definitely think that as Steve said, we don't like number one, number two. I think we're seeing this guy's going to be used in this package a lot this year.
Well, I got to
Yeah.
give Dave some credit because you're the
Mhm.
first one that started talking about him. I just
Yeah.
thought, it's some washed up veteran, and you're the one out of anybody who pointed him out early. And I think he's come around to a guy who, if he can stay healthy, stay on the field, might actually be a legitimate contributor and have more sort of revitalized his career in Washington.
And
Here in
that's always
Washington.
been that's always been that key if he can stay healthy. Just
Right.
and his injuries weren't like major injuries. It was just like it's
Not a
but it
little
was just
nagging
like
things.
yeah, and he's missed time because of it. And of course, that whole Will Levis experience as well. He's probably played with one of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history during that time. So it's like but this is his opportunity right here, and he has to take advantage of it because he's got a
Mhm.
young rookie behind him that's looked really good. Antonio Williams has been a very, very crisp route runner out there. He's been very, very much, very, very much tough to handle on the intermediate zones, and you see that not only on these videos that we find, but I mean almost every defender or linebacker talk about just how shit he is, and coming out of college, that's exactly what he was. That was his forte, and he's living up to that right now. So you're seeing what could very well be. I know we all talk about this receiving core. We talk about the lack of that number two and someone opposite of McLaurin and everything, but it almost seems like they're going to feature McLaurin, move him around they're going to move him around to all three positions on the field as a receiver. So they're not going to keep him isolated for the defense to figure out or to
Mhm.
key in on him. So I really think that all these other components, like 2 years ago when he had Olaman Zacchaeus and so forth, they're going to utilize these other guys as very specific, specialty role type players, and then get McLaurin featured in these motions and move them all across the field, which be a huge benefit right there. So
Well, maybe look, all these guys who are stars, not all of them started out as elite number one,
right,
first round draft
Mhm.
picks.
Yeah.
Maybe they do believe in Traylon Burks and Antonio Williams
So,
because those are the two
sometimes.
most obvious ones, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah,
maybe they believe in one of those guys enough to the point they don't need to go spend a bunch of money.
yeah,
Maybe. And look, I'm also a big guy believer that there are guys who it doesn't work out at the first stop. We've seen that before too. It doesn't
yeah.
happen often, but if you look at any NFL history, I'm sure you can find plenty of receivers who it's not until their second or third team that they kind of catch on. You know?
Well, yeah, I mean, a lot of them take a while to develop. It's
Sure.
not an
Right.
easy position out
Absolutely.
there.
Absolutely. Yeah. So but I was kind of, I don't want to say against than bringing in Burks or bringing him back just because I want to see the
I went
development of
against
young
him. He's
guys.
also not on. He's got a small contract too.
Right,
It's
right,
not
right.
like they spent a lot of money. The
My,
question isn't, are you against it? The question is, who believed in him to think he could be a starter? And that was why I said I give Dave credit because you said it from
yeah,
day
yeah,
one.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. It's well, and hopefully, hopefully all these guys improve. That like you'd much rather see everyone make some improvement than not.
Oh, sure,
Um,
of course.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So another observation. Obviously, there's the kicking competition. That sounds like it's pretty tight. Still today. Um, I think altogether both guys have only missed three field goals. Although, uh, I think one guy missed all three of his today. So,
Yeah, Moody did. Moody.
Moody was perfect up until today, and he missed three, and so now they're dead even again, which is you know it's going to be a tight competition until we see them in an actual preseason game where they have,
Right.
you know, competition
Well,
coming
yeah, it
after
doesn't
them.
really
Yeah,
matter that much in training
yeah,
camp.
right.
They're not going to
Um,
cut somebody in week one. It's going to be last day, you know.
right,
Yeah.
right. Well, if one guy missed every field goal in a day in training camp, maybe you cut him, but I don't think that's
Sure, if you
happening.
get one of us out there, yeah, I mean, we
Right,
would
right,
be cut day one. Yes.
right. You missed wide right from 10 yards.
I
That's a.
remember when I was a junior in high school, I think we
Mhm.
didn't have a kicker that year. So he was like, "Listen, anybody thinks he can kick, get up here." And I tried, man. I went up, oh hell, I'll try it. It was I should not have tried. Put it that way. It went horribly, horribly wrong.
Uh,
I learned I am not a kicker.
I think at the high school level, finding anyone who can do it competently is,
Well, that was he was like,
yeah.
it's open tryout here. Anybody, everybody get up here and see who can kick.
Uh,
Was that
I,
answer was not me.
I remember the kid who kicked for our high school because I wasn't close friends with him, but I was friends with him. He was uh, he was a soccer player, so that he actually at least knew how to kick a ball. But I think he could only hit it from about 35 yards at best. Like that
Well,
was kind
that's
of
high school. That's pretty
yeah,
standard in high school.
right, exactly. That's my point. It's not an easy thing. It looks easy and it's not.
It's not
Um,
at all easy.
yeah. Uh, but we watch the NFL and they make it look routine when they hit these guys from like 45, 50 yards
That's
all
because
the
they're
time.
very, very good.
Yeah, exactly. So the kicking competition we'll get the first real whiff of that on the 14th. Um, let's see what else do I got in my notes. Jane Daniels been
Oh,
playing great.
by
It
the way,
sounds
I'm
like.
sorry. I left out a signing. They also re-signed River Craycraft to the wide receiver group. I
Oh,
apologize.
Rivers back. Good for him.
He's River is back. Yeah, but go ahead. Sorry.
Okay. I did have two little interesting notes from Dan Quinn's press conference on Monday that I pulled, looking at the transcripts. Uh, by the way, it is great that the team puts these transcripts on their website now. I will give them some credit for
Well,
that.
they used to email us the transcripts, and they quit
Yeah,
for a while.
yeah, but at least we can get to them on their webpage.
That was back when they considered us a media outlet
Right. Uh,
before we started insulting the owner.
well, yeah, maybe that wasn't smart of us, but you know what? He's not
No,
there
it was
anymore, so
smart.
we
It's a
we
badge of
won.
honor.
We won.
It's a
That's
badge of honor
right.
still.
So the first interesting quote I saw was Dan Quinn. Obviously, with the projected starting center being out for a while, they've been trying a lot of guys at center. Like they signed a guy, as we talked about. Um, One of the reporters asked Dan Quinn about Coleman getting a shot at center because Coleman's, I think, fair to say he's their best backup lineman at this point. And Quinn kind of shot it down, which is interesting. He said he wants Coleman just to focus on left guard and the competition at left guard, see if he can become the starter there. And it's other backup interior linemen who are all kind of taking snaps at center to see who can maybe fill in.
Well, since you brought it up, so the guy they signed, Trey Hill, 6'4", 319, but what's more relevant, he was a six-round pick out of by the Bengals,
Right.
2021. So he's been around. He's a veteran.
He's
Um,
not never really been a starter though. I think he
I,
started like a handful of games.
yeah, no, that's hence the reason why he's available.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know what Nick Allegretti's injury is. Did we talk about that? I didn't notice.
I we did talk about it a few weeks. He's probably gonna be out for like a month, is what it sounds like. So basically all of preseason, maybe even miss the first week at worst case.
Well, it just comes back down to why did they cut Tyler Biotish? But I digress.
Yeah.
It was a questionable move that they didn't need to make, especially because it's not like they're short on cap space.
Yeah, I mean,
Right.
they got
Yeah.
44 million some odd dollars in cap space.
Right. If Biotish, and by the way, I saw Biotish was snapped up right away, right? Like
Of
when he
course,
was,
yeah,
Yeah.
Chargers, I believe it was the Chargers.
Yep.
yeah, solid, average center. But you know what? Why would you? I know they were going after the guy who made 30 million, the biggest center
Linderbaum,
free agent.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but you didn't need to get rid of Biotish before you went after him. That's a weird thing to do, I feel like, from a GM perspective.
I just didn't understand. I mean, that it was just a weird thing to do in the middle of the offseason like that.
Right, right.
But it
If
doesn't
they-
matter now where it is what it is.
Yeah. If you had signed a higher end center and then said, "All right, sorry, Tyler, you're gone," get it. You know,
It's kind of like the people who quit their job in a huff and then wonder why they don't have money.
right, right.
You know, it's kind of akin to
Yeah.
that. You know, if you're going to quit your job, set something up first and then quit.
Yeah,
This is sort of what they did with the center move.
yeah, yeah. I mean, maybe they were like, "Well, it's going to be the classier thing to do to let him, test the market at the same time." I don't know, but it was
Since
not
when
a
has the
smart-
NFL been concerned about that?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I'm just pretending.
It's just like, it's like I'm mad at my boss and I'm going to quit
Right.
in a huff and, oh, wait, I got to pay rent. I
Right.
mean, that's kind of what they did with Tyler Biotish.
It
You know?
really is. But I also do think it's interesting because I think it's fair to say last year was not good for Coleman because they moved him to about 5 different positions in a single offseason. Because remember, it was like, oh, you're going to be our starting left tackle. Oh, no, now you're going to be our starting right tackle. Oh, no, now you're going to be a right guard, maybe
Well-
left guard. And like he kept on moving around and he really struggled, I think, not having a consistent, like,
Well, that's kind of what happens when you draft a guy who's sort of a bust at the position at which he was originally drafted.
yeah,
Right.
well,
Remember why they drafted him? He's supposed to be the starting left tackle, remember? That was what the sort of optimistic view was, and he's been
Right.
moved all around and everything. I mean, so they're trying to find a place for him, and that's good.
Right.
But he was supposed to be a tackle. It
he
didn't
was
work.
supposed to be a left tackle. A third round pick for left tackle is always a bit of a risk. I didn't think he was terrible as a rookie. He was not great, but like
I didn't say he was terrible. I just said he
yeah.
wasn't starting
He
left
just-
tackle worthy.
yeah,
He just unfortunately struggled against the athletic elite edge rushers coming off the edge right
he did.
there, and
He did. Yeah,
that's kind of important when you're protecting the
Absolute-
quarterback blind side. So
absolutely true. No question about any of that. But anyway, I think it's interesting that they're just. I think they saw the mistake they made last year of trying to have him learn everything, focus on one spot, a spot that you might actually be able to get the job, and let's
Right.
go from there. That's the other part that was interesting to me.
Well, if
and
you want to
then-
make another employment reference, this is the guy who, they keep moving around the office because they can't
Right.
really quite find where he's, where
he
he's
works
supposed to
best.
fit, but they don't
Yeah.
want to get rid of him.
right.
I'm all full of employment references today. That's kind of Brandon
Steve, is
Coleman,
something
though.
going on? Something
No,
going on?
no. I mean, but that's kind of what it is with him. Like, well, he didn't work as the computer, as the computer guy, so let's move him over to admin, and that's kind
Right.
of what happened to Brandon Coleman.
Yeah, I totally get that, and I think that's true. The other interesting thing to me, there was some talk about the defensive backs, and now that we also have seen that one of their projected regular rotation guys is done. There was a question about Mikey Sanders still playing in the slot still. It sounded like Dan Quinn gave one of those political answers, that coaches give, but it sounded like they still want to put him in the slot in a lot of situations. Is there a bigger disconnect with this current coaching staff than Sanders still belongs in the slot? The fans all see, no, he's better on the outside. Put him on the outside, but they keep wanting to put him in the slot. Is there a bigger area where this coaching staff seems to be in disagreement with the fan base?
Well, I mean, you got Trey Amos, who's clearly an outside corner, obviously.
Absolutely.
You got Amik Robertson, who is clearly a slot corner.
Right.
And so I don't really get it. I think if Sanders still is going to fit somewhere, it sort of has to be on the outside.
Right.
So I don't really get
right.
it.
Doesn't he play better on the outside than the inside?
I
That's
mean, to
been the
our
most effective
unexpert
spot.
opinions,
Yeah.
looks to me and to all of us, yes.
Right.
So I don't really get it.
Right. But we see this all the time with coaches. I feel like, and I'm sure every team has one or two things where it's like, why are these coaches always doing X when they clearly need to stop doing? Like with Rivera, why can't you just find good linebackers and develop a good linebacking core when you had a whole staff of linebackers?
Because
Uh,
Ron Rivera had way too much to do, and he should have not been the GM at all.
well, that's fair. But you also had Jack Del Rio there, who you should be able to develop a good linebacker. But
You would
uh,
think.
right.
Yeah, right.
And I don't want to rehash that whole thing, but every coaching staff it feels like has that one spot where you're like, should be doing this. You should know.
And for this group, it's the corner group.
For this
Yeah.
group, it's specifically slot corner is their weird Achilles heel. It looks like for a defensive minded coach who built the
Yeah,
Legion of
again,
Boom.
I just don't really get it because it seems like it's where the guy obviously fits because you're not going to put a Meek Robertson on the outside. That's just not going
No,
to happen.
no.
Right.
You're not going to put Moreau on the outside as your
No, he's
starter.
clearly an
Yeah.
outside corner. I mean, Moreau, look, I mean, Moreau's a name we know,
Right.
but don't overstate it because Meek
Oh, I'm not.
Robertson has
I
a
didn't mean it.
$15
I did
million
not mean it.
contract,
I did not
you
mean
know.
it like that. You know what I mean? I
Yeah,
was just saying you have three guys who are your clear starters, and one is clearly your key slot guy.
right.
You know,
Yeah, Meek
that's
Robertson is the starting slot guy, period, dot, the end.
right, right. So don't give us this other nonsense. Um. Anyway, those were a couple of my observations. Dave, did you have anything else you want to mention about training camp?
Yeah. I think I know going into camp there was a lot of questions of who would wear the green dot
Oh yeah.
on the defensive side right there, and there was a lot of speculation that it might end up being Sonny Styles. But right now it's been Frankie Louvu apparently has been the leader in terms of wearing the green dot. Even Kinlaw made reference to Louvu being he's becoming that leader, that anchor on this defense that I mean, I don't think many of us really saw from Louvu. He was more of a guy that just once the ball's hiked, he just beeline right to the ball, and he was kind of a somewhat quasi headhunter in many ways. But apparently he's really kind of stepped up in that leadership role. He stepped up in terms of his discipline on that defense. So it's kind of one of those things where do we see the Frankie Louvu of a couple years ago where he was a borderline second team type all pro type player for us and
Hmm.
very effective against the run. So that part's pretty interesting right there because when you look at the linebackers right now, the speed that it shows on the field right now with his linebacking core has been very, very noticeable throughout camp.
Mm-hmm.
And,
Okay, come here.
you know,
Come here, come here.
and that goes just as far as with Louvu. I never really consider Louvu being a real fast
Well,
linebacker, but it's all with Chanel and Sonny Styles and Frank Louvu, especially against the run. It's been very. I mean, you're seeing holes closed up almost immediately
Mm-hmm.
just by through instinct and speed alone. Granted, it's practice. I get it. A lot of it's not 100% go through, but it's the fact that they're taking the right angles, they're reading it correctly, and they're taking the proper uh, approach to the defensive side of the ball, which is something we haven't seen in linebacking core when? We
well,
haven't seen it. Just
look,
haven't seen it.
as to Lulu, um, I think reality says it kind of has to be him. And the reason why
True.
nobody
Yeah.
thought about it was that he wasn't really a middle linebacker in a 4-3 defense and everything and all that.
He's a weak
But
side
Right.
guy. Yeah.
yeah, right. But if you look at their linebacker group, I mean, putting the green dot on a rookie like Sonny Styles is a lot to ask. And
Yes.
Luvu
Right.
is the very experienced veteran, starting veteran here. And so it sort of like falls to him by the natural order of things, more than anything, I think probably. The other guy would be Jordan McGee, who was sort of Bobby Wagner's protege a little bit. So I
Right.
think the two that made the most sense was Luvu and McGee, not really Sonny Styles. Maybe in a couple years, Styles will be ready, ready for it. But I think it's just too much to ask for this
Yeah.
brand new rookie. So I think then who else is going to be Frankie Luvu?
Yeah.
Right. And Leo Chenal is more just like this chaos agent type player anyway, where you're going to have him line up on the edge a lot. He's going to be doing a lot. Like he'll be in more places. Whereas even though I think Luvu can do a lot of that, it's easier to see him just being you're a middle linebacker or an
Yeah,
inside linebacker.
inside linebacker.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
in a 3-4.
Right, right. And him and Styles are those guys for the most part. Chanel can kind of line up on the edges and or shift inside, blitz from the inside. He can
And
be
even
that
be that
guy.
spy against some
Yeah.
of your athletic quarterbacks.
Right, right.
And as long as you're talking about Sonny Styles, one thing I did see was that Styles has been getting rave reviews in camp so far. It doesn't really mean anything at this point in
Mm.
week one, but it's all positive, so that's better than all negative.
Yeah.
Dan Quinn had a quote where he's basically trying to push him to take more risks already. He's like, this kid's smart, knows where to go, but he's the best athlete out there. Just go out athlete a few guys. Like that. He's that kind of guy.
I mean, and
So
that's probably one of the reasons why they also didn't want the green dot on him, because they wanted to
They don't want to
have
think
a
too
guy.
much. Just go out there and do
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yep.
That's like I said. I mean, sort of need a veteran to be the green dot. That's why, obviously, when the people in our comment section were all over Kane Madrano and all, I mean, that was obvious. That was why you need an experienced vet who can do that. You don't need to
Right.
put a young guy out there who's struggling to play at all. You
Right.
know.
And
Right.
like you said, they if they were sticking with the old defense, they were grooming Jordan McGee to be that middle linebacker.
Yeah.
Because they're like, give him a few years to learn the system, let him be that guy. And it'll be interesting to see how the linebacker room shakes up. We've talked about this a little bit already in the past, but they have plenty of really good linebackers now. I think it's gone from a position of weakness to being a really solid group this year.
Well, at least if nothing else, it's better than it was. The other point, I think, Dave, you sent us like 50,000, tweets in our text chat.
51.
Yeah, I'd like to thank you so much for all that. But
Absolutely.
one of them
Steve's sitting in court or something.
and my
keep in
phone is
mind-
buzzing incessantly.
Keep in mind, I did give a warning. Okay, here starts the flow of
Yeah, the
camp
warning was
updates.
one more thing I had to read. But yeah.
Yeah.
But the point is, one of those in the string of 80,000 was a quote from, I believe it was Adafi Owe, was it not, who was talking about how he was really a run stopper first, and people forget that he has that skill, which none of us thought of him as a run stopper. So I don't know if he's tooting his own horn or if that's legit or not, but I thought that was an interesting point for him to say, hey, look, I can stop the run too.
He's talking about going back to his college days when I think it was just his senior year, he didn't have a sack. And
that was
drafted.
Part of the quote he was talking about.
Exactly.
Yeah. See, Dave, I did read most of the things.
There we go.
It is funny. I still think of him as a more physical edge rusher. He's not like a speed guy, and physical guys can set the edge and be run stoppers pretty well.
Yeah, he's not like he doesn't seem to be a burner. Yeah, you're right.
Right. He's not going to be Myles Garrett, who's just going to go out and headhunt all game. I think he could be a pretty balanced linebacker or edge rusher, whatever you want to call
like Chase Young, who could do nothing but one thing.
Right. Chase Young, good at standing
Not
there in a crop
Will.
top. That was kind of his jam.
He's a generational talent, though. People remember.
Yep.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Is there a more despised term in football? Is there a term in football that I despise more than generational talent? That I can think of only one.
See,
the only one would be Commanders. But go ahead.
I remember when that term was used legitimately, like when Adrian Peterson came out.
Yeah.
Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, when they came out. It wasn't a term that was just thrown around.
Draft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, but now it's just like, oh my God, their RAS score, their relatively athletic score is a 98. Man, he's a generational talent.
Because people who are elite athletes have never failed in the NFL before.
Yeah, right.
Right, the raw athletic score is becoming the new generational talent. It really is.
That is one thing I paid zero attention to is the raw athletic score.
Yeah. Well, supposedly Adam Peters loves it. That's his.
He can love it if he wants. Doesn't mean I have to pay attention to it.
No,
I mean,
true. Absolutely.
I mean, there's an application for it. If you see two guys and they're real close on your board, they both do everything really, really well. Yada yada yada. You're like, well, you know what? Where are they athletically? Let's look at this and let's see what that breakdown is. And maybe this guy's weakness we just can't get past, while this guy that's actually his strength with everything else. Use it in that sense. Okay, I get it. But
Yeah,
you want to
I
use
mean,
that
I'm not
as a
saying
number one
it's.
determining factor. Not really.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, obviously there's a use for it, but
Yeah.
is it? I think they're making way too big of a deal of it. Like in baseball, they make way too big a deal out of the WAR stat, which is wins over replacement.
Right.
I
Right.
think it's dumb. Like Jerry Rice, for example, wouldn't have scored very high on the Raz
Raz.
score,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yep. Uh,
He wouldn't have. And he's
No.
obviously probably the best receiver in NFL history.
look. The
Yep.
truth is, these are just metrics that it's for the GMs to pretend they're playing doing something other than just playing Madden.
There's
You
a
know,
place for advanced statistics. I think you
statistics,
have
yeah,
to
a little
keep it
bit.
in context,
Yeah.
especially
Yes.
in football, because I think you make a bigger case for it in baseball,
Yeah.
frankly,
Baseball.
because
Yes.
it sort of,
Absolutely.
hitting a ball, throwing a ball, it lends
Right.
itself to that a little bit more, I think. But even in baseball, I've gone way overboard. But yeah, this is fundamentally why I don't like, what's the stupid site?
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody help me.
PFF. That's what I was
Thank
gonna
you.
say. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Yep.
why I don't like PFF I mean, I'm Mr. Stats,
Right.
but some of these advanced stats are just not that useful and way overdone.
And in football, there's too much subjectivity, like you said.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
right. And too
Yeah.
many other things, because again, like a batter facing a pitcher, fundamentally, it's pitcher and ball versus batter
Right.
in
Right.
hitting. Whereas there's so many other factors in football. They
E-
don't give me scores for
mhm.
offensive lineman
Even
performance.
defensive play in baseball, you are one man on your own making a play.
Well, and
Like,
when they've gone
Yeah.
overboard is, they are adjusting for the park and, all kinds of other
yeah, yeah,
things in those
yeah.
stats
I mean, I get that to a limited extent, but
to a certain
in general,
extent.
yeah, yeah,
Right.
Well,
it's
and
minor.
yeah, and it takes you away from the actual film. The
Hmm.
film is the true outlier or underlier of everything for every
Yep.
player.
Yep.
Especially when you're talking about how this guy looked. Yeah, he may look great out here, playing some of these smaller division schools, but when he went against these SEC teams or the Big Ten teams, how did he perform there? What was when he was put forth a challenge that was above what he's normally facing? What did he
Hmm.
do? And you watch the game film for that. And there's no statistic that's going to give you an answer to that. So, and I think like we're so consumed about someone running a 4.24 40,
Right.
but yet what's his speed in the game with the pads on, and what kind
Right.
of separation is he getting from a corner off the line in game action? I don't
Hmm.
care. You give me all track stars you want. None of them may get separation at any point. You
Four
know?
two four is great unless you fall down at the slightest touch or you can't catch.
Right. Yeah.
You know, look at Rocket Rashad back in the day. The guy had the
Well, there's a
fastest 40
list of them.
time.
There's been a
Yeah,
couple Olympic sprinters over the years that have
absolutely.
been in the
Yeah.
NFL, and the only one who really succeeded was, our boy Daryl Green, who
Right.
had,
Right.
well, there's a
Oh,
couple, but I mean, but a small handful of which in our world, Daryl Green's the one.
yeah. Daryl
Yeah.
Green, the Bo Jacksons, the who's the Tony Dorsett guys who had elite speed
Tony
back in the
Dorsett didn't have that kind of speed. You're talking about,
And Eric Dickerson.
Dickerson. That's
yeah,
what I'm
well,
thinking of.
him,
Sorry,
but
Dickerson. Yeah, Dickerson and Green had like sprinting contests against each other back in the day, which was wild. But, I don't think you'd see NFL players do that anymore. So speaking of this, I did find the
I was
Madden
talking about
ratings.
Bullet Bob Hayes, by the way.
Oh,
It was who
Bullet
I was
Bob
trying to
Hayes.
remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I found the Madden ratings for the team this year.
Oh,
Just
good. Just
yes,
lay it on us. It's very
we're
exciting.
talking about numbers already, and if you want to build a team with raw athletic score, just build it with the Madden ratings. That's what I'd say.
Something I care deeply about. It's the Madden
Yeah,
ratings.
yeah. So I will just give you some of the top names for Washington. Overall, by the way, 6 players in Madden rated a 99, 94 are a 90 or above out of 1 to 99. Uh, Washington, 2 players rated in the 90s, Laramie Tunsil and Terry McLaurin, are 94 91. Jane Daniels is just an 80. which I think is the lowest of those major quarterbacks in his draft class. They really dropped his number because of the injuries.
I'll stop you right
Yeah,
there. And I've seen a couple, I'm not going to cite them, a
yeah,
couple, like quarterback rankings and stuff,
right.
and ESPN, some of their sources of the past week. And Jane Daniels is being ranked at like 11th and 12th, 11, 12,
Yeah,
13 in all of them. That's
something
where
like
he's
that.
fallen like
Yeah, yeah,
consistently. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Madden, it used to be that anyone who was above average suddenly became a 90, 91 or something. They've tried to limit and put a lot of people more in that BC range, as
Yeah.
I'll call it. But anyway, Sonny Styles 78 as a rookie. That's pretty high. And then the only one looking at their top guys, it's a lot of names you'd expect: Cosme, Chanel, Nick Cross, Adafe Olwe. But they still have Deron Payne rated as an 84 overall, which is crazy to me. I don't think Deron Payne's that good of a defensive
He's
lineman
had his
anymore.
moments. Overall, I
Yeah,
wouldn't put him that high.
yeah. I think that's
Well,
reputation more than anything. But
he's entering a contract year this year, so he might be close to his 84 this year.
yeah, he'll try harder. He'll try
Yeah.
harder, is what you're
He
saying.
does have a history of that.
Yeah,
Yes,
he
he
he does.
does.
He does. But he's also turning 30, so magic number right there. Um, anyway, it's all to me. It's not even fun to look at these
Yeah.
because they change them so much after the first 2 weeks when they realize who's good and who's bad that it's almost worthless until
Yeah, I
then.
couldn't care less to be perfectly honest, but I
Yeah,
mean, it's interesting to see who they think is high, I
right.
guess.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And a lot of Washington's free agents they're high on free agent signings,
Kobe
so that's
Dog was
interesting.
pretty upset at Deron Payne's high ranking. That's what
I'm
he was
sorry,
growling
Kobe.
about.
I'm sorry, Kobe. Well, we'll finish it on that because if Kobe's angry, that means he's probably got to go to the bathroom soon. Uh,
Or he's
well,
barking at a
actually,
dog.
actually, I want to get to one more real quick thing.
one
I'll
more
make it
thing.
quick.
All right, Columbo.
The uh, the David Blau offense is definitely an offense that we're not going to be used to seeing. Obviously, Jaden Daniels on the center, but he's been running a lot of play action. He's been running a lot of we're going to be dedicated to the zone run scheme, and he has been doing a really good job on disguising what these players are, given the similar offensive look and running multiple different plays out of them. And it's just the way he's utilizing his players and utilizing to his strengths, the offense, the scheme of the offense, and how he can potentially manipulate the defense for how he's going to be running. It's more like it's a lot more of a Ben Johnson system than what I think that we've kind of given credit to. But it's going to be fun to watch this offense this year. Nonetheless, if anything else, with all the movement, all the pre-snap reads, all the design, all the disguises is going to run and so forth. I mean, now do we have the players going to run it effectively? That's what we'll find out.
That's a wise and good input, Dave, and I think that's a good place to stop.
There you
All
go.
right. We will talk to you all next week as we do our preseason pregame preview version
I'll
1.
be
Yes.
back with another celebrity. Thank you,
Yay.
Vince Lombardi, for your inputs.
All right. Let's go.
All right. Later.